Hey, good afternoon, American Lutheran Church family, and I guess anybody else who gets to watch this or chooses to watch this. Um, but really talking to the family at ALC this week to hopefully try to get information out as quick as I can this way. We announced Sunday we're going to go to two services, and that is a great, great blessing for us. The fact that we get to and have had enough people to go over the 100-person limit during COVID is quite a blessing and a wonderful, wonderful thing that we have that many people coming to worship. So we are going to open up two worships. That means that there's a lot of things that we need your help with, and including how to do that, and also to help with doing that to make that happen. First off, the basic rules of COVID don't change. Just because we're opening a second service doesn't mean that COVID restrictions or controls to try to help keep people safe and protected have changed. What it means is that you still need to call and register for a service, whether it be 8:30 or 11, just so we know and we can keep a count on the number of people who are saying they're going to be there. Because we have to make sure that we still don't go over 100 people, totaling, including the organist, the pastor, any other worship leadership, the person in the booth filming. We need to make sure. So you still need to register just so we can make sure that we know you're coming so that we can set that up. But you register for the service you would come to. If you want to come to 11, fine. If you want to come to 8:30, fine. You do still have to wear the mask entering the church and moving around when you're in your pew. Of course, you don't have to. You don't have to wear that. Um, we do need you to know again. As I said, there wouldn't be any kind of seating charts. What we were doing with the seating chart was to try to get the 100 people who were actually here and help the ushers try to get the 100 people in the worship space instead of on chairs out in the narthex and areas. That worked really well because we had extra seating always. Um, but we're still gonna. It's not like a free for all. The pews are still going to be divided, and you still have to sit in thirds of the pew. You still need to sit, close to people. If you're on the left side, sit all the way to the left. If you're in the middle, get as close to the middle as you can. To the right, so that we can maintain as much space in between people for front and back, side to side, as always for COVID regulations and safety and protection. We also need to let you know that opening a second service means we need more people who are willing to usher, people who are willing to serve at those services, not only with ushering, passing out bulletins, helping with the communion piece, but also people who will then help with the taking care of the money at the end of the services and the proper procedures for setting away offerings and all those kind of pieces, the pieces for close down. And we really need help for people who are willing to either stay as a part of first service, stay after first service, to begin to wipe down all the pews and hand spaces where people would have walked in and touched as they have come into first service and been a part of the first service. Also, the doors offering plates, tables, and such out in the narthex, so it gets completely sanitized and wiped down, ready for the second service to come about an hour and a half later. But we do need people to be willing to do that. Of course, without that, if we don't have people who are willing to help us do that, it becomes a great challenge to be able to hold two services. One of the easy parts of one service was we just didn't have to worry about it. After COVID started, you're reminded that after several days, the COVID virus no longer is live and active on surfaces. So we didn't have to clean the pews and the wipes and everything and all those pieces. So if you're going to come to worship, we would love to have different people helping and volunteering to be able to do that on a regular basis, so that different people each week would stay and help do that. We also would need to know that ahead of time, which makes it easier to plan as we go. Same for ushers and other people. We also have had two ladies who have really given a lot of their time and energy to try to successfully and helpfully do the tables where people come in. We need more people who can just double check the lists and make sure that that all gets taken care of as well. Deanna and Sheila have done a very good job of doing that, but we need to be able to rotate them out and have other people help in that position. We also need to have people who are willing to do it for a second service. Might only need to be one person for second service, not sure, depending on how many people sign up, but ultimately we need to have people who will help and participate that way as well. So otherwise, all the other things are going to stay in place. All the other pieces are going to stay there. We keep hoping that people are going to join in worship and offer different pieces of music as we keep trying to find ways to pull the services together to remain active and growing that way. But I want to thank all of you for your help, your participation in making it work so far. Again, I know we've had places where we've kind of got lax a bit. I was thinking about it as I was driving to Nebraska. That back in the 70s and 80s, there was a fuels, an energy shortage, an energy challenge. And one of the things that kind of came out of that was the lowering of speed limits to 55 miles an hour. Now, they used that for a couple of reasons. They said that it was to save lives, but also to save energy and a couple of other things. But speed limits on the highways were lowered to 55. And it's interesting how over time, very quickly, people started to produce songs like "I Can't Drive 55," "I Can't Take It," "I Can't Take It," "I Got to Drive Faster," other pieces like that, and also how people got lax at that and moved it to where the government has now, in some places, put highway speed limits back into the 80s and even 90s in certain states. Not always a good thing to give in to that kind of stuff. So my hope, my challenge, my encouragement for all of you is to say, if we've gotten a little lax, we all need to make sure we get tightened up, that we sit tighter, we sit in our pieces, we wear our masks, do the things. Someone reminded me lovingly that, again, I moved through the worship space and I covered my face with a piece of paper, but they said, you've got to help set us an example. So I'm going to be working at being more diligent that way as well. Ultimately, we're in it together, and to succeed together and to not have anyone be sick together. And look, we've been worshiping for close to 16 weeks, if not more now. 16 weeks we've been coming together as a body, not only online, but also in person. And we're helping, and we haven't had an issue. We've had good success. That's mostly in part because of all of you doing the pieces you need to do, taking your part in realizing the importance of it and the significance of it, being willing to be challenged, and being willing to be faithful. Above all, it comes from faith. It comes from a realization that we're called to take care of each other, to wear the mask is answering God's call to take care of others, and the commandments. When we're told, don't kill, it also means, accordingly, make sure you protect life. And so it's a simple way we do it. And so I appreciate all of the people who've been coming, who've been participating, who've been part of that, using the sanitizers, using the things. You just need to know that it's greatly appreciated in what you've been doing. So we'll be sending this out today. We'll be trying to put a posted thing with it as well. We'll try to make sure people know when they call, remembering the fact that, again, when we come, there's still COVID restrictions are still a part of what we're doing. Seating is still kind of restricted, but it won't be a seating chart. But above all, come and worship the Lord as we come together. So God bless you. I'll look forward to doing a regular fireside chat with you very soon. Take care, and God's blessings.